Okay, welcome to another AQA Comp 1 2013 Program Exam Solution tutorial. This was one that I didn't originally think about, but it's an easy one and I guess you ought to think about it. And it's multiple ciphers, using one then the other. And for this particular tutorial we're going to look at encrypting using Caesar and railfence. You need to make sure you can do this. It's a doddle, and my 10b using multiple ciphers will use it to decrypt using steganography and Caesar or railfence. Haven't decided which yet. Probably Caesar. Railfence doesn't make sense really. Yeah, the more I think about it, this is likely. So let's make sure you know the code, you know the pre-release, you've seen my other pests. You need to be pretty comfortable with procedure calling and parameter passing, but if we're going to be honest, it's just a copy and paste job. We're going to assume that the plain text gets entered as usual, there's a new menu item and case statement, and then we're just going to copy and paste with one equal change in one of the parameter passes. I'm just going to do that live in VB now. So let's go back to VB. I've created a case I, and I've already done the menu. So we're going to encrypt for Caesar, and then we're going to encrypt for railfence. So I'm going to take the Caesar cipher section of code and paste it, and of course because all these calls are going to happen, I don't need to check or change them at all. I'm going to leave the display of ciphertext in there. Purely just for debugging, to get my head around it, and also so it's clearer for you. And then take the railfence and C and Control V. It's that easy. Now I've got to be honest, it doesn't really make sense to have display the plain text here, does it? So let's get rid of that. The next thing I need to think of is I don't actually want to pass plain text into the encrypt using railfence, because I don't want the plain text, that's the original text that was typed in. I want the text that's been already passed through the Caesar cipher. Well, that's ciphertext. It is not a problem for me to have ciphertext here and here. Basically, I'm passing ciphertext in which was last used here, and then it will return and basically assign back to that same variable. So instead of overwriting that variable really, and then we'll have this display ciphertext here because that's quite nice to see what the actual output is. That's it. 2 copies and pastes, but it does test you to see whether you understand the code. Could be one of the smaller programming tasks. Right, we might as well do a quick test. So let's whack in some plain text and bosh, and now let's run my case I. And we can see that it's saying enter the amount that shifts the plain text alphabet to the ciphertext alphabet. Okay, so that's exactly as it was for the Caesar cipher. So let's just do 1, and we can see that it produces that, and that makes sense, doesn't it? That's correct. H to I, W, yep, that's worked. But look, straight away it's asked for how many lines for the railfence. Well, we'll just have 3 lines for railfence, and run it again, and now we can see it's produced a railfence shift of that. And we just make sure 1, 2, 3 should be M. Yep. 1, 2, 3 should be X. 1, 2, 3 should be M. Yes, that's worked as well. Just be aware that you may be asked to sort of hand trace or hand prove that some of these have worked, and just what I've done then is what you would do on the paper, literally just counting characters. Okay, quick and simple. To use 2 ciphers, you simply sort of repeat what was in those case options, and just make sure that the right thing is being passed into the right function/procedure at the right time. Hope you found that useful.